Welcome back to Big Red Rant, everybody. We wanted to do something a little bit different this episode. Wanted to respond to some rather slanderous comments, honestly, from Coach JB, Jason Brown. I love the guy. Gary loves the guy. You know, it's unfortunate that we're going to be kind of having to argue against a guy that we like so much and respect his football knowledge, but it was wild, bro. I feel like his comments were kind of out of pocket. Give you guys a quick overview. I've been watching everything that I can about the Huskers. On Jason Whitlock's show this week, I saw Dylan Raiola in the thumbnail. And I thought to myself, gotta check this out. I wonder what they're going to say after this Cincy win, right? Didn't expect it to be great, maybe some constructive criticism. But as you can see from his face behind me, he is. This is about how he feels about Dylan Raiola's existence. So, Gary, any setup you want to put to this? I mean, what are your thoughts on Coach JB?
Not a lot for setup, man. I think you kind of covered what it's about to get into. One thing for anybody who doesn't really know of him, or maybe they saw like Last Chance U and that's all you know of him and you don't know he has a show. Super knowledgeable football guy, but also like that shock jock value. And he really leans into that. So that's something I kind of had in mind, or I had the advantage of keeping in mind when you told me about this and I watched it. Is he's always going to say what's on his mind. He's not worrying about hurting feelings. Like he's this last week, he got a lot of notoriety or a lot of publicity for going back and forth with a female coach from football and him speaking his mind on that, not being politically correct, I guess is the best way to word it. So I feel like he leans into it. And if he has a stance or an opinion on something that's going to be against the grain and kind of rub people the wrong way, he puts a little extra juice on it, knowing nobody's going to like it anyway. So I'm really going to hammer this point home. So I don't know how much of this he's saying is off of his football knowledge or off of his emotional. I really like to hammer my points home, and I know it's going to get a bunch of clicks and things like that. So I don't know, just something to kind of bear in mind when if you haven't seen it.
I feel like you're softening the blows here a little bit. Honestly, like I don't think this is shock jock. I mean, I know he is, but I think this is how he genuinely feels.
Maybe it is, but like you said, he is like that with other topics. There's no reason to think there's no possible way he's like that with this topic. But I don't know. We just get into it, man.
All right.
Knocking off Travis Kelce's team. Dylan Raiola, good stats. Were you impressed?
No, he's horrible. Here's the issue. It's an embarrassment. I've never sat down and watched the kid. I did not know it was a real skit. I didn't know that was his real thing. I thought it was a joke. I thought I was being trolled, I guess they would say on the internet now. I did not know he really wakes up in the morning and literally mimics this guy. Like, Patrick Mahomes need to file a trademark infringement. Like, it's embarrassing.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. So,
Yeah,
we never really talk about this because it's none of our concern. It's not that big of a deal to us that he does or doesn't mimic Patrick Mahomes. But for the record, since this is such a topic that just will not go away, I suppose we can give our official opinions on it. I don't even think I've ever asked you. I will admit, from the outside looking in, if he was on another team, it could probably rub me the wrong way. It doesn't matter if he dresses like Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter if he dresses like Shaft. Apparently, he's been wearing 15 since before Patrick Mahomes is wearing 15. He wants to stay true to himself. Okay, that's fine. 15, you're out of here. The hair. He says he got the haircut first. Now that problem isn't quite as much of a big deal because Patrick got his cut, but the hair is exactly the same. The shades are the same. Dude, the graphic that they threw up there during the game, literally down to every detail, the wrist ties, the long sleeve on the right arm with the short sleeve on the left, and the QB pad, like every single thing. His pre-game rituals. I kind of just wish he would lean into it and be like, yeah, I'm emulating the greatest of all time. Don't bring up your Bills quarterback right now. All right? See you getting emotional.
I was about to go JB on you for that blasphemous comment, but go on.
So I feel I've always felt like there's a little bit of a level of gaslighting where he's not being completely honest about the fact that, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the video of him doing the little like hand movement on the field. That's exactly what Patrick Mahomes does. I mean, the list goes on and on. I don't have a problem with it, but that's my take on him being Patrick Mahomes Jr.
Yeah, I don't give it a ton of thought. Honestly, it's kind of like the Taylor Swift deal. Every time it gets brought up, or every time we watch a Nebraska game and they talk about the comparisons, I'm just like, Jesus, dude. Again, like we get it. You know what I'm saying? Like especially when he first got into college and was with the popularity and all that was building, and there was the anticipation between Ohio State, Georgia, and then Nebraska and all this stuff where there was more of a spotlight and people started the comparisons. I feel like you could split hairs on that topic all day. You know, he says he wears 15 because of Tebow. He does talk about his faith and family a lot. People don't draw those comparisons. I could show you. I could take my daughter. It was in college, back and forth to Lincoln with her last year. Everything this year, or even through high school. I could show you 200 kids, adults slash in that age range that have the same hairstyle, that wear the Viper glasses, all that stuff. He just happens to already look more like Patrick Mahomes than all these other kids walking around looking like llamas or alpacas with the hairstyle. So it's like, does he lean into it by the mannerisms and the pregame rituals and the suiting up and everything else? 100%. If the comparisons by everybody else and the fact that he didn't work with Patrick Mahomes and they didn't have the same quarterback coach, would it be as big of a deal? Or is it, since there's already that connection, people assume, yeah, he's 100% trying to be like him? Honestly, dude, I don't care. I do understand 100% from the outside looking in. If you don't watch the games, you don't pay attention to any of the other things going on, where you just kind of draw that. You know, take Shador, for example. When he would ball out in games, nobody cared about the risk. I mean, people cared because it was already a topic. But the fact that he wasn't lights out and living up to this crazy high expectation, there was a lot more emphasis on stop waving the watch and cutting rap deals and, you know, getting sponsorships and worry about focus on playing football. You know, that's always the thing, right? A guy's baggage is okay if he's elite and he wins. His baggage is a problem if he doesn't. So the crazy shit to me is the first words out of his mouth when Whitlock asked him about it is, "Oh, he's horrible." It's like, okay. You then follow that up by going, "I never really watched the kid." So which is it, man? You're a football and specifically a quarterback guru, and you've watched this dude and broke him down, and he's horrible, or you're so upset by the Patrick Mahomes emulation that you don't want to watch him, you don't care, he's just trashed you. That's how it came off to me. The more he spoke on it, because it's this game, for example, take Cincinnati game on Thursday, the day before they do this. He attempted, was it 42 or 40? I think it was 42 passes. He was 33 or 42. He had 9 incompletions, no interceptions. Oh, he checked down everything. Okay, he's executing the plays that are called for him. You know what I mean? That was part of my freak out and like, oh, you know, some people say overreaction, whatever, to the game was how vanilla the offense looked. Well, he executed the offense he was in. He wasn't a liability to the team. For sure, sometimes he held the ball a little too long or waited too long to try to run. The one fumble could have been catastrophic, but that's, to me, an argument in his favor of how mature, heads up, doesn't let the moment become too big or panic settle in. He gets the ball back when both of us are like, how did he manage to get that back? Took sacks sometimes when it was more valuable to the game and the team than throwing the ball away and keeping his, you know, not taking the sack. So, I mean, there's a lot of other experts, both overall football and quarterback experts around the country, that had rated this dude as the number one quarterback in the class. He fell for whatever reasons people want to bring up. There's still people saying like all this that he has, including his coordinator, who basically took that job, depending on who you listen to and what you pull apart of what he said, because he had him as a quarterback. Then you look at the crazy offenses and some of the other high name quarterbacks he had, like Geno Smith, Weed, and some of those guys, Locke. And he's like, this dude, both physically and mentally, is the best quarterback, best football player, whatever I've coached or been around. So it's like all these other guys are wrong, or you don't really know. You just don't like the Patrick Mahomes thing. So it's kind of like where I feel like a lot of Travis Kelce hate, for example, came along after people got tired of TV cameras constantly showing him and his girlfriend when he's playing. in the box, and now it's like, okay, I'm burned out, I'm tired of this dude, don't want to hear him anymore. Like that's a common thing, right? Like everybody has like a level, like the Patriots were kind of a lovable loser when they won that first Super Bowl, and then you fast forward a few years, they keep winning, and now everybody hates the Patriots and everybody hates Tom Brady, and we've seen all this type of thing play out. His hate obviously isn't coming from losing; they're gradually getting better since he's been there. But to me, it's either that or it's like, oh, he was a 5-star kid that already played a full year and he's not putting up Heisman numbers, and I don't care what the offense is or what's happening around him. It's just he's not living up to that number 1 overall pick that he at one point held or that 5-star quarterback status. So he's horrible. But I mean, I would need a lot more breakdown of reasoning from this dude anybody.
Let's see
that says that
what
he's just
else he
trash.
goes into.
Embarrassing, dog. I can't believe what I saw. I did not know he really mimics everything he does, not only off the field but on it. My question is, does he have a feminine brother and a drunk daddy? Here's the thing. I don't know, man. This is embarrassing to watch. And then he's not very good. So he's not very good. I know he was 23 of 32 or whatever. Their offense is horrific, Jason. They better go back to running wishbone with Tommy Frazier, because this team is bad. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'll make a prediction on your show. This kid right here, all the antics, is going to get Matt Rule fired.
Bro,
More
gotta
wild.
pause it. You know the saying, like, don't meet your heroes? Like, just being honest, this feels like I wish I hadn't listened to my hero talk that one time, because I found out that he'll just go off on a subject that he doesn't know anything about. Clearly did not watch the game.
Yeah.
He's got the total amount of throws under by at least 10 there. Doesn't know how many times he threw.
He completed more passes than he thought he threw.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, this is fine for the general sports fan who also wasn't paying attention to Nebraska versus Cincinnati. And I don't think that we're so important as an unranked Nebraska team that everybody needs to be pouring their time in. I get what you're getting from ESPN in this situation is Patrick Mahomes. Here's how he looks like Patrick Mahomes. Did we mention Patrick Mahomes? And oh my God, look over there. Look over there. Look to your right. There's Taylor Swift. It's like, I get it. You would actually have to know what you're talking about. But I don't know. I just guess I expected him to be that guy. He didn't watch the game, dude. If he watched the game,
he didn't watch
it was
the game.
like a quarter.
He probably saw some highlights. He
Or
probably
the
saw a few
highlights.
highlights of it and was like, nothing good happened here. And he probably assumed going in Nebraska, like I did, that Nebraska should win by multiple scores. And when he saw the final score and saw no impressive highlights, was like, this dude's trash, man. He should have been able to score double that on Cincinnati's defense. They're a bad team. I think he ends up talking about that. But if you don't watch the game, you don't see how the play calling was, or how the almighty cover 3 that we've heard about, the shell defense that no human alive can pass against. They didn't even push the safeties deep with the threat of many deep routes to give more room for the underneath stuff. So maybe he has an extra 60 to 100 yards because guys have room to run. Whatever. I digress. The wild shit to me, not only does he not know anything about Raiola, he doesn't know anything about Matt Rule or Nebraska and the shape that the program has been taking since Rule came in. And a big part of that was landing Raiola, whether it's because his uncle's here or not, which in turn has led you to land a lot bigger recruits than you would have, first off, in years past, but second off, if you didn't have Raiola. You might still be able to get some big recruits, especially now that the money is as involved as it is. But when you have a kid like that that's going out of his way to recruit for you, which is another thing, I guarantee he doesn't know that. So you've got, and he's always talking about these like prima donna players that he can't stand. Like Shador was one of them. I can't think of who's the kid at UCLA that quit playing and then got all this money. He lost his mind over that because he's like, you know, these kids, all they care about is the money and not playing or being devoted to their team or their program. This dude, once he committed to Nebraska, before he even took a snap on the practice field, started helping to recruit. And he does everything. He's at every sports event that the program has. He's on every interview or whatever else, not because he's an attention whore, but trying to get out there and talk about how good the program is and getting other people in. There's a lot to Raiola that he clearly doesn't know from a football player standpoint, from a human standpoint, to whether he is on Mahomes nuts or not, to what he's doing for the program, to what he does for his teammates, what his teammates that are already there and people that are waiting to play with him but are practicing with him and stuff, how they feel and what they say about him. There's no way that him emulating or just toe for toe copycatting Patrick Mahomes is going to make Nebraska fans and boosters get to a point where there's pressure of, you got to get rid of Matt Rule now. Like we don't have, some people don't like Matt Rule. Some people don't like the way things are going. Vast majority, I feel like they do. And I feel like when you look at results from year one of Matt Rule getting here to now, there's been steadily improvement. There's been huge improvement, in my opinion, as far as the culture and the I don't want to say off the field because a lot of it is on the field, but non-game stuff goes. And to me, it couldn't be more different than it was before Rule got here. So it's like, you think all of that is going to be negated because he doesn't look like a Heisman Trophy winner on week 1 against Cincinnati? And remember, I wasn't happy with a lot of the game calling on both sides of the ball on Thursday. But to go that extreme, I wasn't sitting there calling for coaches or coordinators' heads or predicting people are going to get fired or whatever. I was like, I put the blame of this not being as big of a win as it should be on the coaches. I hope and expect that they'll do better, or there was a certain reason why things didn't go. Obviously, they all know more than me. They make all this money. Like, I'm not sitting here, like, I know some things other people don't. But I'm saying, like, when you look at the big picture of things, for him to say what he said about Raiola being trash, that's crazy. To say that he's so bad and his antics are so bad that it's going to get Matt Rule fired, or the idea that Rule's going to get fired regardless
specifically because he's impersonating Mahomes, and that's going to be that's going to get old, and it's going to make people want to get rid of him. That is insane.
No way you know what you're talking about to be that adamant he's getting fired because of
it's
that.
It's an overtake. This take is like overkill. I mean,
it's ignorant. It's just saying something without knowing what you're talking about.
Because you were asked to talk on a subject and maybe you haven't had time to give it a lot of look. I understand not having a lot of time to study the Huskers. He shouldn't. He's got bigger fish to fry.
Then don't make a wild comment like that.
Let's say the Huskers have same season they had last year. I think we all think probably 7-6 is the worst we're going to do, right? Let's say we go 7-6. Let's just say we win another low-tier bowl game. The fact that he's been dressing like Patrick Mahomes will have zero impact on any discussion about Matt Rule's future. Him going out there wearing 15 and having curly hair is not going to affect Matt Rule's job security in the slightest. What are we doing?
That's 100% right. I mean, if we miss a bowl game, especially if we miss a bowl game bad, there's going to be a lot of people, especially the people who didn't want Rule, or we weren't national title contenders week 3 of his first season. So they were like, all right, this isn't going to work either. Those people for sure are going to come out of the woodwork or be louder voices than they have been recently and say Rule's not the guy, he's got to go, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to be on board with that. But we're nowhere near that now. But also, if Dylan Raiola himself starts coming out and laying eggs, throwing interceptions, overthrowing guys, missing guys on reads, some people are going to go, maybe if you spent less time worrying about being like Patrick Mahomes, he'd play better. That doesn't mean that they're right. Doesn't mean that all of a sudden he's playing bad because of that. So it's like, I don't see how any of those things has to do with the other. If there was all these rumors like there were about a former head coach floating around about our quarterback and all these things going on, and he starts playing bad, okay, you can go, yeah. That's going to make you play bad. And if your coach doesn't get you off of the team or get you to stop going out and doing all these things that are distracting you from football and keeping you from developing and getting better, then his head's going to be on the line because of you. What your hair looks like or how you look before in pregame or showing up to games or whatever, people can clown it all they want. They have every right to do that. He's got every right to say all these opinions he has. But when it comes down to like reality and facts, the dude's a really good quarterback. The offense isn't where I don't think any of us expected it to be or would like it to be at the end of the year. But the program overall, especially from a culture standpoint and what you're doing in the offseason and the transfer portal and recruiting, in big part because of this dude, is going in the right direction. So you're going to throw all of that away. That'd be like if your wife of 5 years all of a sudden cut her hair and dyed it to ways you didn't like, and it's like somebody's dead serious. Your husband's going to divorce you now. Like, what are you talking about? We've had a great 5-year marriage. I'm not a huge fan of it either, but it's just hair. It doesn't ruin. No, it's trash, and he's going to leave you.
Something happened in his life where somebody copycatted him and it rubbed him the wrong way, and it's left a lasting impression that he might need to seek psychiatric help over, to the point to where if he sees that out in nature, he sees someone copycatting someone else, it's like just nails on a chalkboard to him. That's the only reason this would make sense, is if he's got some preconceived issue with copycatting in general.
I'm 40 whatever years old, right? I look at, when we're watching a lot of these games, at them as kids. They're my daughter's age, right? So it's like he's been recruited his entire high school career, and he's still a kid. Every kid playing basketball, football, baseball, whatever, has their favorite player they're looking up to. His apparently wasn't even, Mahomes wasn't even his favorite player. Like Stafford's his godfather, and he's big on Tebow because of all that stuff. So it's like, maybe he's got this hodgepodge mix of things. What if you look at him with a fine-tooth comb? Maybe there's a lot of his game that correlates with Stafford, or there seems to be a lot in his personal life as far as how important family and faith and all that is with him, like Tebow. And supposedly that's what, but who gives a shit? No, I don't care about any of that. I get what they're saying. At some point, you have to look at, I'm on this dude's level now. I can't be trying to look or act like him. But if he doesn't, or it takes him 2 or 3 more years before he does purposely try to create his own thing, and then other, like when he gets into it, the whole leader aspect where people want to emulate him, cool, man, I don't give a shit. Right now, I'd like for him to develop reading defense. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't do these things, but keep working on the things he's working on that are going to correlate to winning more games or making the program better. I couldn't care less what posters people have on their wall, or what kind of music they listen to, or what TV shows they watch. Or, to me, you're getting into that area when you're worrying about what somebody looks like, or who they emulate, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems weird to me that grown men, like even older than us, are sitting here going off about that. If you bring that up when you're talking about actually, like, they never get into the gameplay. We've heard all that they're going to discuss.
No,
about
he does a
his
little bit,
gameplay,
right?
or his stat.
Let's go back into it.
That rule makes it out of the season. They're bad. They're not a good football team. And Cincinnati, we're acting like today that they were like the old Oklahoma team or something. There's Cincinnati. They lost 6 games in a row going back to last year, Jason. It's not like they're a powerhouse.
Week 1 is tough, JB. Week 1 is tough. I think, didn't Idaho nearly beat Oregon last year, week 1? And so week 1 is tough. Let's cut on some gray. I'm going to also offer up a tiny defense of Raiola. Is this the impersonating Patrick Mahomes? Is that the worst thing that a young 19, 20-year-old kid could do? I see so many of these kids impersonating whatever gangster rapper they love. I see them running around with their pants hanging off their rear end like they're in prison. And so this kid has a fascination with Patrick Mahomes, who's a great player, married, seems committed to his wife, a good representation of an athlete. Maybe it's not the worst thing that he's impersonating Patrick Mahomes. Maybe, he could be doing worse things, I guess, is my tiny defense of Dylan.
I agree. But we're in this, all the feminists are coming after me right now because I had this female on my show.
I saw it.
Well, I got all these people, these female coaches, and it's a joke. This is my problem. This is feminine quarterback play. Like, I get your point, and it's not a bad guy to follow, but we're followers now in this era. This generation of kid is followers. We're not leaders anymore. He wants to play quarterback in the NFL the last time that I checked. You got to be a leader to do that. Is this going to be it? I mimicked Patrick Mahomes.
So this is what I'm talking about, where he doesn't know what he's talking about.
The feminine quarterbacking, no. The following, I'm not going to argue that there's some following going on there. That's not the worst point I've ever heard. but the feminine part is mind-boggling.
Okay, they're going to get into it here in a second, but
you might be right. They might just talk about the number and close.
Yeah, they don't talk about his game. We heard what he's going to talk. When he gave those wrong stats, that's all you're going to hear about his game. This is all about how he's trash because he reminds people of Mahomes. He's in love with Mahomes. He happens by accident because of God to look like Mahomes. Whatever side you're taking, that's what this whole conversation with them is about. You and I were set off at the whole he's trash and he's going to get rule fired. Like what are you talking about? But when he talks about leadership, if emulating a guy is your problem, then there hasn't been a leader in the NBA since Jordan, because everybody, especially they're going to get into Kobe, emulated Jordan, whether it was parts of the game, the workout, the work ethic, Kobe trying to talk like him in interviews and have that same mindset and all the stuff he did. You go to the NFL, you go to all these different positions where guys are elite, and you talk about, they're always asked, who'd you look up to growing up, who you take your game after? Even guys that are retired now, you can go back to when they were playing and they talked about things they got or took from other players. Some of them, some things more than others. Before Allen Iverson was in the league, people had a tattoo here or there. Nobody wore the arm sleeves. He started getting all of his tattoos, wore the sleeve to cover the one for a while. Now everybody and their mom, whether they have tattoos or not, wears them, and they're shooting sleeves. They help me with. Shut up, dude. Nobody wore those before Allen Iverson. Everybody and their mom was doing it. After Iverson got in the league, shorts got longer and baggier. Everybody did that for however long.
Okay, but devil's advocate, let me argue for JB just real quick. To your point, There is a difference though with picking up things that Jordan did and being like, maybe I'll stick my tongue out. Or, maybe I'll try to do this like double pump layup type thing. Or Allen Iverson, hey, the sleeve looks dope, I'm going to wear the sleeve. I think there's a difference between picking up a thing or two or emulating your game after them and then having basically like a long checklist of things that are exactly the same. Like we're talking like 15 different things that he's got exactly the same.
But it's all
as opposed
to... It's all, everything to me that he emulates of him is his pregame deal. If he did any research or looked into the dude before he goes on TV and says he's trash and he's going to get his coach fired, he would see that before he ever took a snap anywhere in the stadium, he was getting guys recruited to Nebraska, or doing his best to get guys recruited into Nebraska. He's been, with his own money, meeting up and getting his receivers to meet with him in the offseason so they can get work on top of the regular work, to get chemistry and things like that build up. He goes to everything to support, whether it's the volleyball team, the baseball team, the basketball teams, all these other things like a leader would do. He's hand in hand with Rule on a lot of this stuff when it has to do with the team or the culture or whatever. Like, what is he not doing as a leader? When Pritchett jumped off sides in that play, you saw by accident when the camera's showing back at him that he's right there. You say he's chewing his ass, talking, whatever, but he's holding him accountable. He's taking a leadership role on the field. Like, where else and what else do you want this dude to do to be a leader? Shave his head, you get a nice comb over, then all of a sudden it'll be fine. Every single, probably 13 to 23 or ish year old has that alpaca llama looking haircut and wears Vipers. It's just like back in our day when we wore Jordans and jean shirts and jerseys, or Tommy Hilfiger, Nautica, or polo shirts. Where, like, that's just that era, that trend. And I'm not saying he's not doing things to emulate Mahomes. I'm not trying to say people are crazy if they think that. I'm just saying, like, he's not going out of his way. He's not going out of his age group's trend to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? My nephew plays baseball. We went to one of his games about a month or maybe a little more ago. Every single kid had that half mullet looking deal. Didn't matter what race they were. And they all had those Viper sunglasses and looked exactly the same. It looked exactly like the one picture you showed of when he's walking in before the game with the glasses and all that. Like, not saying he doesn't want to be that, but it's not like he's pulling this random trend that no one else but Mahomes has and trying to be that. Like, to me, that's all there is to it. And it's insane to keep hounding on that when the dude's good. I don't know if he's as great as people expected. He's not there yet, but he's not bad. He's not sorry. He's not trash. Like he said, he's not costing us games. He's not anywhere remotely near a problem, let alone a detriment to the team or a detriment to Rule that's going to get his career at Nebraska is shortened. Like that's the most insane comment.
I was shocked by this. I'm glad that you are. I guess we're the ones that are actually triggered.
Mahomes had never made it. Like, is that what we're going to know him for? I want him to step up. How about wearing number 16 or 13 or 12 or make your own number? Let's start there. And let's start worrying about your play on the football field and not chase it. We all had role models. And anyone that's comparing Kobe Bryant to Raiola this morning, as they were on my show, is comical. Okay, first of all,
that's
he didn't
a good
wear
analogy. That's a good
Kobe and Raiola, Jason.
I'm not saying he's Kobe, but he impersonated Michael Jordan, and it worked out for Kobe.
Not off the court. He didn't wear the same haircut. He didn't have his same number. He didn't shop the same and eat the same. This kid's doing everything the same, from the number to the attire. At least, what'd you do? Kobe chew bubblegum? So did everybody else. Like, at least Kobe could play. So now you can argue, okay, this guy did his own thing. Raiola hasn't shown us he can play yet, and you're mimicking a 3-time Super Bowl champ at the end of the day. So, like, you got to be able to play, right? I don't know. I just think that this kid's going to be known to mimic him, and he's going to be a laughingstock at the end of the day. Break that loose now and go be your own man. That's all my thing.
I will say, JB, he's getting away with it in college for now, but this impersonation will not work in the National Football League. Not in the locker room. He'll be mocked and made fun of. It won't. And, who knows if he's got the talent to even, play in the NFL. But
I can't believe he was a pick Georgia commit. Like, this guy was supposed to go to Georgia, and he chose Nebraska because of his family lineage, and he's got an uncle there coaching now and all this. Like, it's kind of mind-boggling to see the performance he's thrown out there. And you're a Georgia commit. Man.
I would sum it up by just saying, like, what have we been expecting? Is it as simple as because he's dressing like Mahomes, acting like Mahomes, whatever, does that mean that he has to be as good as Patrick Mahomes right now, or he's terrible and going to get Matt Rule fired? Because that's what I feel like I'm seeing here.
No, but at the same time, if you're in his situation and the comparisons are there, the connection with them is there, the obvious emulations are there, that's the comparisons you're going to draw, right, wrong, or indifferent. Like, that's where people talk about outside noise. Well, it's just outside noise. It don't have nothing to football. Let it go. Well, you can't, because you got people like this that are going to constantly bring it up, and then it's going to get brought up to him or brought to his attention or the Rule's attention or the program's attention. So that's where it's like, it is within your control as far as whether there's something for them to talk about or not. Giving a shit or not giving a shit is two different things. But it's just, I know after the game and in some of the comments and things like that, there are a lot of people that think that Raio's a bust. He can't get it done. He's not explosive enough, this, that, whatever. I don't agree with that. I think the play calling is where he was kind of held back, or what held him back. I thought he did well in spite of the play calling. We've already been over that, but it's just, he goes right back to it again. Like, this is all about that, because they never talk about his play.
No, he literally said, first thing, let's change our number. It's like, yeah. And then he goes, second thing, let's start playing better. Nah, it's the other way, bro. It's play better first.
Well, when you look at the guys that have been drafted in the NFL that have had, as recent as the Shador, all the way through murder charges, assault charges or accusations, theft, drug issues, alcohol problems, domestic problems, all of those things. And you look at all these guys that still get drafted every year, that are still on teams, that have this happen while they're in the league and doing all this. You're telling me if a quarterback of all positions isn't good enough to go pro, teams are going to go, no, the hardest, most important position to draft in the league. And we got a good one here, but he looks like Mahomes too much, and we can't deal with that. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Wrap us up, will you?
I did.
That it?
I mean, that's it, man. I don't know. Is there anything you feel like we left out or skipped over? Like, I think it's just, he doesn't seem like he's very prepared to say or elaborate on why he's trash. Like, he was even fixated when Whitlock said that Kobe Jordan is a good comparison. He immediately jumps to, he's no Kobe. No shit, dude. We're saying Kobe wanted to be like Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he can't even see that. Like, you're right, man. He either lost out on a lot of money because somebody emulated or copied something off of him, and this is a big trigger point for him. Or I'm right, he had a little bit of shock value in a take he had, and he really tried to hammer it home, went over the top with he's trash and he's going to get his coach fired. But I mean, if he watches his game at all, especially with the football knowledge and specifically quarterback knowledge that he has, he'd have a drastically different opinion. I'm confident in that.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for hanging out. We'll have the Akron preview out as soon as we can. Till next time, go Big Red.